right, so this is our last little video for the week. We are just going to take a look at a couple of maps of state parks in the area. State parks are just big, basically large outdoor areas that have been chosen to be preserved for one reason or another. This one is Assateague Island Park. It is this green strip island running down the coast of Maryland. So if we look over here, this is our big map. This is the whole tri-state area, the DMV kind of. So we're a little bit up here. We're a little bit off. You can't really see us, but we have DC down here. And then over here, Ocean City is this strip right here, if anybody's ever been there. And then this is Assateague Island. Assateague Island is this whole big thing right here. And then if we look, this circle right here is the map that we're looking at here. So this is zoomed. This one is zoomed out. This one is zoomed in, basically. So Assateague Island is this whole, it's what's called a barrier island. It's a strip that runs down the coast. It is a barrier to the ocean. You have the Atlantic Ocean over here, and then we have the Sinapuxent Bay over here. I don't really know how to say that. I'm not going to lie. So we have an island running down the middle. Then this is the coast of Maryland, the actual coast, the eastern shore. Down here, you have Virginia. So this little line right here is the border between the two states. So north of this is Maryland, south of this is Virginia. And so what kind of landforms am I seeing here? I want to identify a couple of them. So one is labeled, there's an island. Looks like there's also a couple of other islands over here. This little cross-shaped one right here. It looks like there's a strip of islands right here, little one right there. Then we have a bay, which is just a body of water that is surrounded on three sides. Bays usually lead to the ocean. We have another big bay over here that we might recognize. This is the Chesapeake. This is one of the largest bays, I think, on the East Coast. And it leads out to the Atlantic Ocean right here. So ships come up and down this bay carrying goods from all over the world. There is a major port down here in Virginia. There is a major port up here in Baltimore. We are a major port. If you've ever been down to the harbor, there's tons of ships. Bays are nice for shipping. Water is very fast to transport things over water. So we're going to take a look at another map right here. This is Patapsco Valley State Park. This is actually very close to us. If we look up here in the corner, we have the same thing. We have a zoomed out map right here. So this is Baltimore City everywhere in this big red circle. And our park is this little red square right here. So we are to the southwest of Baltimore City right now. If we look right here, we have our highways. We have Highway 95 coming up. We have Highway 1. I don't know. I can't really read that. And I don't really drive, so I don't know. But then we have, this is our whole park right here. This whole map. And then we have our key down here. So I don't know if I really talked about this yet because we haven't really used a map with a key. But if we look here, these are just all of the labels that we need to know. So we have features, these blue squares. So I think we all know that's handicap access. There's restrooms, parking, and it looks like observation areas. Then the trails are going to be these dotted lines. Color indicates the blaze. We'll talk about that maybe sometime later. The exterior park boundaries are these lines right here. And the park roads are these solid lines. So let's see if we can find a road. I think there's the one goes straight up the river right here. Yep, there's a gray line that goes up the river. And then the 40-foot contour lines. Remember, those are our lines from our topography. So each one of these lines is going to show 40 feet. So we have, and some of them are going to be labeled with hundreds. So this over here, we're 500 feet up. We would have sea level would be somewhere down there's a river running down the middle, the Patapsco River. If we look up here, it's easy to see. You can see the blue strip running down and the little compass up here showing us our directions. This park is divided into different areas. It has trails everywhere. I really want to take us here sometime. But if you've ever been here, this is one of my favorite parks in the area. So I want you to take a minute. I want you to look at this, and I want you to list down on your notes. I want you to list how all of the different landforms, all of the different things that you can find. Do you see mountains? Do you see cliffs? Do you see a river? We should all see that one. What are the man-made features? What would be a man-made feature? Maybe a road or a highway or something like that. I want you to list as many as you can on your note sheet. And we will move on to the next one. This is another national park. This is Harpers Ferry National Park out west. This is up in the mountains. And so, since we're up in the mountains, bam, there's one of our landforms. They are labeled down here, the Blue Ridge Mountains, also known as the Appalachians. It looks like we have the mountaintops running down here because this is the top. This one shows our topography a little differently. Instead of with lines, it shows these kind of creases. So this would be a canyon over here. This would be a mountaintop. So it'll, instead of the lines, they just show it to us with shading. So if we look, these green areas are going to be our parks. We have our scale down here and our key. So if we were, it's going to be a little hard to read right now, but if you were to zoom in, you would be able to see these better. We have our different states are labeled. So here, over here is Virginia. Over here is West Virginia. Over here is Maryland. We have two different rivers. We have the Potomac River and the Shenandoah River that run together. And then we have over here, we can see these straight white lines are most likely, well, they are roads. This looks like another road running through, probably a highway. And on the labeled areas, so I see the Murphy Chambers Farm over here. I can just read that. We have Schoolhouse Ridge. So these are just features that have names. So Bolivar Heights is probably going to be a hill or a mountain of some sort. Maryland Heights is a mountain. It's actually a giant mountaintop. You can stand up here actually on there, and there's a cliff that runs down this side. And you can stand up here. It's the highest point in Maryland. We have some islands over here in our river. We have a lot of different landforms here. So we're going to go into a little bit more detail about this. I'm going to give you some more detailed maps, and we are going to spend the rest of the quarter doing a lot of comparing landforms and looking at the differences in different areas.